I hope you can see this. Now, what Chris was talking about, which is what we did at the Watermans, and Jill and Prue were probably there as well, is we drew in on the photocopy a sort of grid to help us with knowing where the halfway point was down vertically, horizontally, and the quarter mark. So I thought that's another thing you can do. But I didn't ask you to do that this evening, and it's a different exercise. So this is another portrait by Sargent. Okay, I got this out because I thought this was so beautiful, and Rembrandt is such a great exponent of, well, the best in portraiture that I think has ever been produced, really. His understanding comes from so much direct painting of himself, right from an early age when he was very, very elderly, and right up to before he died. Chris, I hope you're looking. This is important. Now, this shape of the hair is a very dark tone, is it not?
Yes.
The shape of his top is also a very dark tone. The highlight is really the lightest part, which is just this little bit of the edge of his top, wherever it is, just here on the shoulder and the back of his neck. And it's also hitting the side of his cheek. So we know the light, he's indicating to us that there's a light source coming from the left. The rest of it is almost in deep shadow. However, what he's done, which I think you can do with a pencil drawing or a charcoal drawing or an oil painting, is to consider how best to deal with the background so that one really sees that portrait. So he's made this area all quite light. The front of his face, the front of his jacket is all in deep shadow. He's similarly done with the back of what's beyond the back of the head is also light, the background I'm talking about. It then pushes that dark shape of his head forward. This is all to do with allowing you or helping you to really see what he's depicting. It's not random, the colours he's used or the tones he's used, but he's deliberately wanting you to focus on certain things. And with Rembrandt, the use of what we call chiaroscuro, which means light and dark, was totally developed and totally well understood. And it's what brings power to his painting. I mean, I can't tell you how much I love his work, because I think he has this innate understanding of the drama created by chiaroscuro, light and dark, the light source hitting a form and focusing on a particular part of it. So that's him. I found this beautiful one of Virginia Woolf, and it's by somebody called Beresford, George Charles Beresford. It was produced in 1902, and it says here it's a platinum print, which I think might mean that it's a form of
it's a photograph of her.
This is a photograph of her?
I think so.
Okay, well, it was done in 1902. Platinum print is a form.
Well into photography by then.
Okay, fine. But it's very beautiful, I think, again, because you've got this wonderful dark mass of her hair and this beautiful, tranquil, light face.
It could very easily be a tonal drawing.
Yeah, it could be. Beautiful. Then these are some bigger versions of some more John Singer Sargent. And again, the tone. So we've got the very darkest tone hitting the very lightest tone, creating drama. And then we've got some what would be called half tones. That's halfway between dark and light, for the face, down the neck, and so on. He's used tone in the line. He's made these really strong dark lines and then gradually got them lighter. Whereas on this side, there's just a couple of lines, and yet there's a shoulder there. You don't have to have it all deliberately drawn in.
But it's really interesting to compare that to the other one of Virginia Woolf, because it just shows the difference in what the two media can do in terms of expression. And the drawing, really says a lot about the mood and the personality and the state of mind of that person. Whereas
this one, yeah,
absolutely. Whereas the Virginia Woolf one is almost more like in the mind of the photographer what this person is like.
Yes, beautiful though. I think both are very beautiful in different ways.
Yeah, but one on the left is sort of, in a sense, more interesting in a way.
Yes, moody. He's obviously a very strong personality. I don't know whether this is a dancer as well. Renata Borgatti.
Don't know it.
Pardon?
Don't know the name.
You don't know the name?
No.
No. Okay. Well, that's fine. Okay. Then this one. Sorry?
Sounds Italian.
Yes. Well, Sargent did train in Florence, and he also was born in Italy, although he's got American parents. So he obviously spent a lot of time traveling around Europe, and obviously benefited from what he learnt and saw by being there. So again, this lovely portrait of Olimpio Fusco. I don't know who he is either, but again, a very strong head, wonderful. And this dark, massive hair. And then we've got the sort of a little bit of highlight on the bridge of the nose and a bit on the forehead. And the rest is sort of really half tones. Mid-grays, you can call them. Mid-grays. And then the one that, who's doing this one?
Me.
You, Sue, yes. I think this is great as well, because he's used this wonderful dark tone in the background to allow you to really focus on her face.
Yeah.
And a hat, the shape of the hat and the hair and all this is allowing you to really focus there, just like Rembrandt makes you do. You focus on one bit. I know this is all light, and your eye is then led down into the rest of the drawing, but that's the main point of interest, I would suggest, wouldn't you?
Yes, and you can sort of see, the light in her eyes. She's looking up in a sort of enlightened way. The sunlight or whatever it is coming down onto her face, which says a lot about her mood, her personality.
Yes.
You can just sort of hear her saying, "Oh gosh, that's such a wonderful thought."
Yes.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And she's looking up at some Florentine detail.
Yeah. And just take note, this is in the National Portrait Gallery, London, if you want to go and see it in the flesh.
Oh, that's great. Good.
Yeah. Now, this is Manet, completely different story altogether. But Manet, well, the reason I thought this was relevant is that Sargent did have quite a lot of contact with Manet and Monet, because he lived around the same time, obviously, as the French Impressionists, and his landscapes are quite impressionistic in style. Even some of his oil paintings, his oil painting of Madame X is quite similar in approach to Manet, where there's not a great deal of modelling. It's broken down into very simple light, dark and half tone. So what's the half tone in this portrait, please, Chris?
Sorry, I was having to go over to my phone. I had to miss what she said.
Okay, what's the half tone in this portrait?
I don't know.
What part of the portrait is in half tone?
I don't know.
Look at it.
Yeah.
You can divide it into three things: dark, tone, highlight, mid-tone. So, or half tone. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's how, when you're looking at all these, that's all I'm talking about, This is another gorgeous portrait. Degas, this one.
Wow.
God, I'd never have said that.
No, I know. But, these artists did know how to draw and paint, and then they broke away from the traditional ways of doing things and started to develop a new, obviously new style.
And just by where the halftone and the highlight are, you get a total sense of where her cheekbone is.
Yeah, yeah.
And you also get a texture of the skin.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
You almost want to feel it.
Yes.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful.
And then, of course, this one again,
That's
extraordinarily beautiful, this one.
famous one.
Absolutely extraordinary.
Girl with the pearl earring.
Yeah, and that little tiny highlight, and then this highlight here, and the highlight here. I mean, yeah, it's just, I just think some of these are wonderful to look at, you know, and you can learn from them. Anyway, let's get back to what we're doing. So if you have got yours all completely drawn on your page, start to look at and put in very carefully where those half tones are. And by half tone, I would just gently, you know, use your pencil gently on its side and find a way of putting the half tones in. Don't start putting edges on things or drawing outlines on things. Just get the tones in, or the half tone in. When you've done that, then you can put in the very dark tone, because that will help, especially with people like Sue who are doing that portrait where the dark tone is very strong and it needs to be established. So you can put the background in. Get the biggest areas in first and gradually work from large to small. Okay, that's the way we're working this evening, large to small. Not, you know, focusing in on the shape of the mouth and the eyes and the nose. I don't want you to do that. I want you to see these as abstract shapes, if you like. All right?
Okay.
Now, do stop me if you want to ask me anything. I'm just going to carry on until the next person wants to ask something.